are you doing it for? You can record it, that way you.
You can go back and review things that may have been said, maybe question.
So that, when he used to be president of the Homeowners Association, he used to have how many cameras going?
So, I mean, okay, so, I mean, where is this,
They just like
what
to
are
do
you guys doing?
They posted on YouTube.
The first meeting that we had, we posted it on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
With some
So if you get
operations
tired of
also.
the babies singing, I guess you can go to our homeowner meeting.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know,
All right, I'm just
Get popcorn.
curious. I don't understand, you know.
But you can see your commentary with it also.
That's right.
So that's what makes it interesting.
So you
is the
make it into like
commentary.
a joke or something?
Well, no, it wasn't a joke, I was quoting law
No,
that
it's
you guys were
mockery.
basically
There's mockery
saying
to it.
wasn't happening.
Okay, let's stick to it. I'm curious homeowner, you know.
I'm trying to explain, but.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Get a copy of the rules? They're in the back there.
Okay.
Just kind of like,
Your proposed rules, you mean?
well, it's just we took a.
And you guys have a copy already, don't you?
Oh, that's right, they
The
posted
original
it.
time?
It's what you posted, so
Okay,
it's not.
well then you should probably leave those back there if you have the original copy with you. In
Oh,
case
we
more
only had the
people
one,
come.
so that's fine, I'll give it up. if
I
more
only
people
made 6
come.
copies, I figured
More
those who
people come, I'll
already
do
took it.
that.
Yeah, figured those who already took it would
Nice to have
probably
clean
bring
copies.
those.
Yes.
Someone's being successful.
What did you request, why did you request from Nancy a list of violations back all the way to 2007? What is the
Just to put
purpose?
together a case, if it comes to that.
What kind of a case?
Well, it was on the thing. I
I'm
saw.
asking Scott.
Well, it's basically that last thing where violations have not been enforced in years, and all of a sudden now we get a slew of them, and it's going to show that it's going to be hard to enforce something that wasn't enforced for 4 or 5 years. We're trying.
Well, right, it's a different floor now, and you heard what they had said last night regarding the latches is what he called it. If something hadn't been enforced,
Which the
it's going to be
garbage
hard.
cans
The
They
garbage
were
cans
or not?
were.
I never
They
got a
were.
violation, like I said.
If you
for
look in
years.
your book, I even got a violation notice.
I never, like I
Because
said,
I
this
kept mine
is,
out.
this
So,
is
I
the
mean,
first
it's-
time
it
I've
can
gotten a
still be
violation,
enforced.
so we'll see. That's what I'm trying to do, is prove that, all of a sudden we get all these violations, which never happened before.
Well,
We'll
that's
see.
what happens when you have a homeowner.
Well, it may also show neglect on PSI's part for not enforcing.
That's
We'll
fair
see.
enough.
We'll see. Again, I'm just, we'll see.
That goes back to my point that they weren't here and they didn't
Right,
see
there
or
weren't
Right.
homeowners living
that
on
they
the
were
property.
on the property that often, so.
Yeah, I think you all read that book, Lord of the Flies, in high school, right? So when there's no person above to
But
make
there
the kids
should have.
behave, they
There
just
should
go all
have.
nutty.
There should have
And
been.
now we have people in
Right.
a civilized
Just because
community,
rules
we're
weren't
not
enforced
all Lord of the Fliesy
Follow
anymore.
that.
I mean, I'm just
She
saying.
really wasn't responsive to a lot of the people that have
Right.
complained about the same thing, that they call her up and they call her up and.
Yeah, now we have a board and we're gonna make
Yeah,
it
and
better.
I will say, I think she's been more responsive since this board took over.
Just
Oh, yeah.
so You guys maybe.
Well-
People are still saying, I called her, I left her, I whatever,
I gotta tell you, that's part of the course in any of management.
That's not excuse in any business.
Well, like I say, we'll
She is
see.
human and she is entitled to make
Understandable,
errors.
but I don't see a lot of supervisors, CEOs making excuses for their employees not responding.
We've got an hour though, we have an hour to get through this, and then we got the next
I
one.
don't think we'll need a whole hour. I mean, I'm sure that they just have some certain things that we don't have to go over every one, do we?
I thought this committee was reforming, not already going over what's existingly proposed.
We thought we would be helpful in terms of getting a set of rules and regulations from an existing condo association so that we could have something prepared for you such as this, so you wouldn't have to come up with it scratch, any of us.
Well, don't we have like a,
We have the
Original
rules, we have the
documents
rules and
and stuff.
regs, we do, we have what's in the declaration,
Okay.
we don't have anything
Hi.
specific, yeah, we don't have anything specific to
rules
what
and
is,
regulations on the table if you don't have
to
them
our
already?
particular
I
community.
see.
This just
Okay.
takes the
Okay,
existing
perfect.
rules and
Right,
regulations
right,
and puts them in more detail.
Yeah, that's
I
the key there, because
Right.
the lawyer, when he spoke to the lawyers, that this is more the day-to-day,
You're right.
addresses things specific to our community.
Right.
Whereas the declaration and the bylaws
Right.
are
It might be
very
too far
general,
reaching,
are very
or it might
general.
be right.
Because they
These
had
are
some,
supposed to address the day-to-days.
I see.
and there was some stuff in here that was just, I mean, originally this was bigger than this originally, and we just, I mean, we chopped a lot of it out and then
Yeah.
just put a little bit
Because it
more
didn't
detail
pertain.
to some things, right?
But if it's reiterating the declaration, what's the point of including it?
Well, why don't we get started and then we can try to walk through it and
Well,
see where we end up.
I was curious and expecting this to be an open-minded beginning point.
I think
But
it
we're not
is.
starting from scratch, because we'll be here for hours.
You
So
can't
we
do
add-
that.
Can't
wouldn't
say
it
that.
be-
Take your
Cost too much
hours,
money?
and for just 3 people out of 170,
lawyer.
there's plenty of examples of condo rules in lots of other places, and this is just a guideline. And this is
Why
why we
reinvent
went
the
with
wheel?
it, is because there are a lot of good rules that are good for other communities, and they're good for ours also. And I think that as you hear from other people, they agree with it also. So just because one who's here that doesn't like it, I don't see other people that are here that don't care.
I just don't
Well,
think
I
we
don't
need to
see
start
why
with
you bring up
100%
real
of
cost
everything
much.
thought
Okay.
out.
So let's start.
When you can, I was trying to say something. I don't see where we have to start with 100% of something when there could be things
Okay.
addressed as they
Well-
arise, if a problem arises in the future.
This is how we're doing it, and when you're a board member, you can do it your way. But right now, this is how this board has chosen to do it. We have chosen
So
to
again, you're
go,
not being very
again,
open-minded, that's all.
again, you're talking out of turn also.
Oh,
And if you're not gonna be respectful, then you will be asked to leave. Okay? This is how we are
So you're just
conducting.
talking. Okay.
Okay, anyways, so let's get started.
You got that?
Did everybody get a chance to read it before tonight?
I've read it online. It's on our website, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't do that. I assume it's the same thing.
It is, we haven't made any changes since
Okay.
that point.
No.
Right, right. The only thing that we are adding in there is obviously the grandfather factor for the, number of animals that people have and the size limit of the dogs, because we're not making anybody get rid of their pets contrary to what was told to some homeowners.
Did you specify that this time?
Yes, Scott?
Question, you say you're not going to get rid of existing pets. What about new pets that want to come in the neighborhood? Say somebody's got a 200-pound dog or something.
Well, then, right,
We're gonna set a new precedent, right?
right, that's why it's in the rules that, grandfathered in from this date that these rules are gonna be effective. No, you can't have a 200-pound dog.
So then you're going to stop a possible renter from renting here because he has a big dog.
Correct. Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Unless we change it that much.
Yes.
Unless it gets changed within this
So we'll
process,
get
exactly.
But I don't think that's uncommon to rule out a pound.
There's a lot of
size. In my
complexes, condos and
mother-in-law's
townhomes,
community,
right.
they
I
have
Oh, wait,
a pound
then.
limit.
dozens,
Yeah.
And I really don't think that's
of
uncommon.
rules, and they
Right.
all have very similar
Yeah,
weight restrictions. I have a
but they
problem
grandfathered it for
with that
people
large
who
of a
had
dog.
Right,
bigger
we're not gonna
dogs.
make people get rid of their,
And that's what I was asking, if you specified that.
Yeah.
we have written it in here.
Okay.
It's not in the copy that you have, but it will be edited into here going forward, if that's whatever, if that's what we agree upon. Which is pretty much what we communicated last night, so let's hope so. It pretty much starts basically on the second page around the architectural. Everything else is just kind of just the language of the rules themselves. But it starts around the architectural section on item 2, round number 2.
I don't think we need to read it. Right, we don't need to read it for you guys.
Just let everybody kind of get through a bullet point, and if you have questions, comments,
I know.
concerns,
Right.
additions, let us know.
You have a neighbor that has a gazebo canopy going
It
on.
doesn't say a gazebo.
Well, but it
There's
could
an
be construed.
awning, a canopy is referring to something that is built off of the unit. A canopy is something like a retractable canopy. This does not say a gazebo.
That's like those.
Again, that could be-
Right.
It's not a
It's
picture.
It's
attached
with
to
the
the
4
building.
posts that people are
In
putting
a
over
flat
their patios.
Yeah,
What-
this says
what we
attached to
could
the
do-
building.
Yeah, it does
And
clarify, and we can
gazebo
clarify
is
it's
Exactly.
attached.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
that's
I
why
think
maybe
that,
if she
again,
takes it, she
you're
takes
gonna
it
leave
down.
And so does my neighbor behind us. They take it down.
They
I
take
don't
it
mind
down.
putting it up and taking it down. I just don't want to.
Yeah, it's not a permanent structure.
Right. And common.
It's not attached to the building, isn't attached to the building, you don't wanna destroy,
Right.
Correct.
you don't wanna destroy the siding and, I mean, isn't that the
Correct.
purpose?
Nobody's done that, have they?
I can't imagine that they would, because it's a rule.
Well, I'm saying, ask somebody if this has been a problem.
Yeah, I don't think so, but that's why it's in there, I'm sure, because you don't wanna drill through the siding.
Right.
Right, but we're putting this in there so that people don't put it up
Correct.
As a permanent
as a
fixture.
permanent
So,
fixture,
yeah,
it has to
she's
be in
done
it.
that.
Right.
No, what about these antennas?
Like
Yeah,
the
you can put
dishes.
them on the roof, right?
Is it a dish?
It's a separate, in our declaration today, it's a separate, section where it has to be on the roof. It can't be attached to a balcony and it can't be attached to the building itself.
Or what about, like, the porches? I've seen a couple just attached.
But on the balconies,
It's
it's
allowed.
not, I don't
It's
think,
a lot on the back, on the porches,
Why don't we just switch it to?
on the wooden porches, because I asked
Wait,
Nancy the same question, because I saw some on the porch. On
in the declaration, I don't think
balconies.
it is. It's not supposed to be. It's in the deck.
But that's easy fix, they can just move them.
Yeah,
It's
exactly,
not saying
correct.
they
You
can't
don't want
have
them
them.
drilling through the siding again.
Yeah,
That's the whole
or-
Yeah, it
purpose.
should be on the roof
So
I
you
ideally.
think
say
it
you
does
want
look-
them on the roof?
Yeah, I think it looks trashy on the.
I agree, and that's why I had asked
On
her
the
about
post
it,
of
and
the
she
porch.
said it was allowed on the balconies. So,
I can't imagine that would, because balconies are so small, even if you had a balcony.
Well, they're hanging
Well, I
on
think
guarded
like,
posts.
yeah, just have them, like,
Oh,
on the post of the balcony.
Right, they're
Yes,
drilled
it's
onto
on
the
side.
posts.
Just put 'em on
Take
top.
up your space.
Well, don't
Right.
they have to like point south or something like that? Don't they have to
Here it
point a
is.
certain way?
Yes, I think, yeah.
Satellite dishes may only be installed on portions, well, it's its own whole section. It's like on page 14 and 15, the rules. It might be a different page because I don't have a clean copy, but it's its own separate section, and we left that exactly as it is in the declaration today. We didn't change anything.
We don't, I don't know where it is with this one. Yeah, I just like to see them on the.
On the roof.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Make your cable company.
I don't have one, but I'm just saying the people that do. and
It would look
some
nice.
like
How
it.
do they put them on the roof though?
Asher, it's
Actually,
not.
Most of the time,
That's good.
there's some that are on, like on the lower portion of the balcony post.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well,
It's just
we can
this-
ask, we'll ask Nancy about that.
We're not saying they can't have it.
Actually, or how?
Let's just drill into the post of the porch,
In the 4x4.
from the people that are down, yeah.
Oh, okay, not like on the roof.
No, I like them on the roof.
That's where we want them to be.
I wonder if that's because they don't have roof access. You know, they're a lower
Well,
level unit.
they're still right
Nobody
above
does
me.
here, because I have, they put them all on, all the other units are on the roof.
Yeah.
So they have to run it through
So-
somebody else's house.
No, they
No,
put them
but
up there and then they run it down the gutter.
Yeah.
Right.
And put the line down to
Okay.
Well, we'll ask her about that. If it's in the declaration that it is allowed, it might have to be amended. You know what I mean? It might have to go through the same process of the 3/4 of the homeowners signing on to that.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody will have a problem.
There's,
Well, if it costs them to move it, they might.
Yeah, but
It's
your
already
cable,
been there.
your disc people,
They'll do it.
yeah, because they don't want to lose you as a customer,
yeah.
because, you know,
There's a rule in our association
they'll
that
say,
has to
well,
be here,
if
can
you
you
say,
please come and do
move
it,
my
otherwise
disc
it's
to the
switching
roof
to take it
around
out.
and get cable,
find out. We'll
they'll
ask
be
her.
right out there.
Regarding that.
You can kind of comment basically, and change it.
And I think the people that did put it there is maybe they thought they couldn't put it on there, hadn't had it in there. A little area. That's
Right.
the only reason.
Or
I
the
think
service
they
might
would.
just put it there because it's easier to access than going up all the way on the roof.
Yeah.
So when they put it on the roof, what do they do to seal the holes?
There's,
don't take it down.
little gaskets,
I was
little
gonna say,
rubber
we're gonna-
gaskets.
I don't know what they're called, yeah.
Above the shingle?
Yeah, they just put it on and then they drill in, they put rubber gaskets in. We haven't had any problems, and there's two above us, so I'm assuming it's not even working.
Yeah, well, they're not required to take them out, even if you don't have a service anymore. They're not
Yeah.
required.
Okay.
There's a sample of the rules and regs, hopefully still on the table. Is there any more left on there?
Any other questions on the balconies and patio section here? I think the one change that's in here is that,
Yep.
charcoal barbecues are not allowed on folks that have only a balcony
number A, orderly and free of clutter is kind of subjective.
It is.
It is subjective.
So I would imagine that the person who's gonna complain is gonna be your immediate neighbor. Cause you're not gonna patrol to say, ooh, you're orderly, but your
Well,
neighbor's
I would
gonna
have
say,
to disagree with
"Oh,
that."
you're,"
I
but
would
hopefully
disagree with that.
you would say, hey neighbor, you're looking kind of smelly, let's.
The only other ones are the ones that face the street that you're kind of worried about.
Oh,
Is
yeah,
there a
yeah,
copy
yeah.
of rules and regs for you all?
But I would imagine that is subjective, but it's gonna be perceived by your immediate neighbor is my guess.
Yeah, I can't say that.
Now, if you can't leave your toys, there's increasingly more and more families with kids, which of course is gonna bring all the plastic toys, and there's nothing wrong with that, it's in the backyard anyway.
Right, well,
You
we're
want it
basically
off the
referring to
common
is like
area.
people who are leaving random garbage, random items,
Yeah.
a lot of.
I've seen those
I don't
outside,
think we have.
by the garage,
Well, and
overnight.
what I'm trying to say is that when they collect them, it's going to end up on the patio.
Yeah, that's what we should be on, that.
But, yeah,
Then have it look that way.
in respect for your neighbor, just make it look as good as you can.
Okay.
It's a huge deal.
Moving on. Any problems with any of the other ones? Bicycles, lawn decorations, poles, seasonal decorations.
What's the deal with the seasonal stuff? Because somebody's got their,
I saw the decorations up already.
yeah, and we have a rental property up on Fox Ridge, and our rules are 30 days before and 30 days
Well, that's what
after.
we have in here.
Oh,
It's not-
okay.
Yeah.
Because
Because
it's just really a little.
no,
bit
not to
tacky
be
right now.
installed any earlier than 1 month before, must be removed
Okay,
1
I
month
like that.
after, but as of right now, there aren't any in the declaration.
Oh,
Stated.
Nothing specific.
Are we
Okay.
making allowances for alternate religions?
We actually took that section out completely.
What, allowances?
There was something in the sample that we went through that stated something that, it was something
I
about,
don't know if that's what she's referring to.
it was something about
Right. it was-
placing something
right.
for your religion
No,
on your
that's
door.
Protected
Are
by
you
the
talking
state.
about
I'm talking about
decorations?
decorations, like the lights that are up, I don't think they even celebrate Christmas, the ones, the couple people I've seen. So I'm, it may be their own holiday, for lack of a better word.
If they have a holiday, they can say, well, this is Hanukkah, so I'm leaving it up,
Right.
and that's okay with me.
Yeah, I mean, you can inquire,
It's kind of to keep the people
But
from, keeping us from having our holiday lights up
All
in
year
April.
round.
Yeah,
There's-
people do that.
Is it right, and there is a family that has them up all year round, and it's around the garage door.
We had neighbors.
So that's what we're trying to eliminate, is all year round.
You send out a notice and they take them down.
Right.
It's not a
Right.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Any other questions regarding that section?
Oh.
So bicycles can't be allowed, stored on porches and whatnot.
I don't think you'd even see it, what difference would that hurt?
Well,
What,
If you have
bicycles?
a problem with a dish being on the pole,
But you can't
Does it
bike
look
outside.
Does it look trashy? If you have bikes outside, garbage cans outside, if you let people leave everything outside, your house will end up looking like the townhomes down on,
it says porches or balconies, right?
either
But
way.
again, it's in the back of the house.
I personally would want to go around seeing, if a kid, there's 3 bicycles on a balcony, and it just looks bad.
My neighbor used to let his motorcycle parked in the back of his house, is that acceptable too? To leave his motorcycle in the back of the
Doesn't
house?
bother me.
Right, I mean, it's a motor vehicle, it shouldn't be
I
in the
just
back of
didn't
the
know
house.
it, I'm okay with it, but I just didn't realize.
It's not, it
The
wasn't,
problem
but
with
it,
dishes.
So,
Come on,
It's a cemetery.
it wasn't
That's
specific
all I'm
before
saying.
that. It wasn't specific before, that's why you didn't know that, because it doesn't exist
Okay.
today.
Okay, yeah, I just didn't know. No, I don't have a
Teasing, I'm
problem.
teasing.
I just didn't.
I'm teasing.
Oh, man, I love this.
Dish issue.
Storm doors.
Storm doors is exactly like it is today.
Okay.
You can have flags, although
I have a question about non-seasonal decorations.
Yes.
Is that redundant? No outdoor decorations were permitted except for decorations which can be placed on unit four. What does that mean exactly?
Or what number?
Number eight.
It's at like the top of page 4. Number 8. And then on page 3, lawn decorations, including but not limited to statues, boulders, edging, blah, blah, blah.
Where was that?
Can be placed in the mulch bed, so, no outdoor decorations, I don't understand that.
I don't see why, there's a lot of people.
Because it
that
says you can have them, and then it says no, only a wreath. Yeah? Am I
No,
understanding
you're
that
right.
correctly?
Right. There's another part in there that says you can put lights, but you can't use your own site.
They're competing is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's further.
Okay, maybe it's old medicine, but on number 3, where?
Number 5, it says you can have lawn decorations in your mulch bed. And then it's contrary in number 8, no
Oh.
decorations are permitted
Except for like something on your door.
on your door.
So
So,
maybe we should
Drink
mark
it.
that for,
so it's just they're competing against each other, really.
I think what you're trying to say here maybe might have been, like,
Seasonal.
On the lawn.
Valentine stuff in 4th of July, or your 4th of July stuff at Halloween.
Well, I think what they're saying in number 8, if you specify no outdoor decorations are permitted on the lawn, because over here it's saying you can have them in the mulch beds, you just can't have them on the lawn.
It may be referring to common lawn versus your limited area, maybe.
We could just strike it.
Yeah, just because
Yeah.
the number 8
Put
doesn't
junk
really
out
make too
the
much sense
calendar.
anyway.
Only the community flags.
Just take out 8,
Yeah,
8A,
just
just
take
take
out
out 8A.
Yeah.
Got it,
Okay, good.
got it.
Good eye.
Good
All
catch.
right, moving on.
Storm doors, alterations and additions.
You save yourself a lot of hassle if you put in here that, if it complies with this, you don't need to wait for approval. Consider your request approved within, if you don't hear back from us in 5 days or something. I read that somewhere.
For the storm door thing?
Yeah, I mean, if it matches this criteria, then send your request, and if you don't hear back from us in 5 days, consider it approved. It would save a lot of time and hassle on both ends, really.
we're supposed to have these votes in open meetings, how can we do that?
Well, we're just coming up with proposed.
Well, it's a committee, we can discuss, you can we'll ratify or whatever.
You know.
No, I don't think it's that time consuming anyways, we don't have 100 requests for storm
Well,
doors.
how many,
So,
I would imagine a
Think
big
we've had
percentage of people
one
already
in the
have
past.
storm doors, don't they?
right.
We've had situations though where people have either purchased or want to get a storm door that doesn't comply with.
Right.
And
they
some
need
that
to-
are actually up that people didn't get approved,
Right,
whether they didn't know that this existed already, and then they got something that didn't comply with the
yeah,
law, so.
they need, yeah, you still need to say yay or nay to them, because they might buy something and then,
Homeowners stop, yes.
Will the existing storm doors be grandfathered? Since they were put up before this board was here, and I guess there's.
There aren't existing storm
I think there's only one that has been put up since we've been here that is not in compliance. We
Okay.
talked about that one last night.
Yeah,
Right, but there's a bunch of them that are out here that may not fit your compliance with this rule, what will happen.
It's the exact same rule though,
Those
that's in the
people,
declaration
right,
today.
and those have been requested, most of the storm doors, if you look in our book, those have all been requested.
I guess I'm just saying.
Because I was here, been here for 5, almost 6 years, and I put in a request and I have a storm door, so I'm
I
sure
didn't
most
know.
of the people.
Same.
Again, going back retro is a little, out of.
But
the
I don't
time
think that we're
context.
doing, but I don't think we're doing that, we only have
There's only
one.
one since we've been that is not in compliance,
Right.
it's a
Can
color
you do
yellow.
that?
Yeah, we
Exactly.
already are.
All right, then
Yeah,
it's not a big
it's not
deal.
a big
That's right,
Then we don't have the grandfather,
Pretty
because
easy.
they all,
Right.
thank you.
they all work.
The unauthorized,
That's the one.
yeah, the unauthorized alterations and additions, I believe is exactly as we have it today too in the declaration.
Unit owner maintenance,
What number are you?
10A, can you mention
a timeline for it? What do we need a
Well, first
timeline
30
for?
days, the second 30 days, that sort of thing.
I think it doesn't say daily,
Yeah, but at what
The
point?
fines
It's
on a
a
daily basis.
So that's in our rules and regulations, that if you get 4 fines, and after that, you'll start getting a daily fine.
It exists
That's
today.
in their declaration.
Okay, so why are we reiterating this here then?
Well, I suppose we've got people today that don't even know that the declaration exists, obviously, because we have violations, so we're just putting it out here.
Kind of
Because this will go out blanket to everybody, so that everybody will be in the know, and there'll be no excuse for not complying.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and I think we should leave it,
Not-
the traffic
not in your
girls with
garage.
this, because it's not what you're.
Yeah, please, not in the garage. Yeah.
Store.
Hopefully it doesn't store gasoline.
Grills and carcass, so if you have one out and back, you can store it in your garage when it's not used, no?
No, I think we
Grills and carcass must be stored in the garage after use.
have to use on a driveway.
On a
Oh,
driveway.
okay.
Can't put
Yeah.
it in your garage.
Because there's people that are
Yeah.
leaving them out on their driveway.
Gotcha.
Oh.
At least till they cool.
And that is,
probably.
and driveways are
Yeah, I think within 24, 48 hour time frame.
exclusive to use common areas, right?
Yes.
They're your use, but there's rules that
Right.
are over there. But their patios kind of their patio.
And I think the
As
people,
long as it doesn't attract.
speaking from one of those people that would have a fire in their driveway because you don't have a patio. Most people that have a fire, they're gonna put it on their patio.
True.
I just borrow all my neighbor's patio.
The
I do too.
driveway fell under homeowners area on that maintenance
You
list.
get enough problem with
Yeah, it's
driveways,
exclusive.
driveways.
Right.
Use common area.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as limited.
So then, the assessments is really no change other than what it is today. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. Like, isn't it, do we keep it a separate section
Oh,
in
we
the back?
moved that, remember?
Oh, that's right, I don't have a clean copy, I'm just working off from what we worked off, sorry.
This one is the common.
Turned enough stuff tonight, enough.
Storage, we're good, use, we're good, damage to common property, anything else on that page?
I propose we get somebody to pick up all those damn newspapers.
I thought about picking up just a bag and picking them up on my way, but
I tell this
I got the
to my phone.
yes.
Can we as an association somehow stop that paper from being delivered?
You could call that number on that paper and have it stop being delivered to your house.
But just to the
I
house,
did.
can't,
It's not working.
What'd they tell you?
They said they will stop, but I still receiving them.
It didn't
I would
make
keep
it to the
calling
kid,
every day.
probably.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
do.
just be
I would
told.
just keep calling every day and telling them I don't want it, I don't want it. I mean,
so
that's
do-
what I
give
do when I
up.
keep,
2
you know, when
years.
I wanna
I
cancel
give up.
something, I just keep calling until it stops, and then eventually they'll get the notice.
The only problem with doing that as a blanket, Scott, is if there's some people that actually want the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My
You don't wanna
husband
do
You can't do it to everybody.
Dreamy eyes.
Okay,
Show up
okay.
and-
I figured it might
But
be-
it's
There's
usually
some people that might enjoy reading on it.
I know.
Or something.
Terrible.
garage sales on the.
The advertiser.
I think this is gonna work as a garbage
It's
control.
for the garage sales in America. Where are we?
I agree.
Yeah, we're moving on to garbage,
You know where I stand on that.
garbage and refuse.
We do,
waste bins,
thanks.
Clean up,
It'd be easy for the
then
board to
here goes for
simply
the
add.
unwanted newspapers under clean up. Hopefully people will be responsible, it's in the rules that they need to pick up their unwanted newspapers. You would think.
Just, you know,
Such a simple little thing.
I know.
My husband just picks up my neighbors, not yours,
I-
Dave. Matt's,
I think a lot of us do.
right, he just picks them up and throws them away.
That, yeah, that's what, you know, you come across to.
Yeah, that's what the landscape is. I've seen some beautiful things over 36 inches. Somebody planted some wild flower, or wild grasses, for example, and I can't see why
It's beautiful, it is.
I think the thought process, that we kind of, because we all had a conversation about that, 'cause I like landscaping as much as the next person, is to keep, I guess, the trellis kind of things going on that are gonna grow up the side of a whatever, and then people don't take care of it when it gets dead, or is it watered, and, you know what I mean? It's just to
all a
keep
matter
it
of opinion. You know,
maintainable.
what some people
Exactly.
think is beautiful
And
is
everybody
not
might think
beautiful
that's
to others.
beautiful, but then somebody else brings something else in that's
Right.
Like
36.
giant
Well,
sunflowers
this
that are
36
5 feet
inches
tall.
is
I get a lot of
Specifically,
compliments on my sunflowers.
It's not
Same.
great.
I
trellises.
understand, I'm not talking about you personally, I'm saying that some people might not like them halfway up of the building. Some people
well, like
might.
if
What
you
about
saw
the
grasses
barn?
over 36, this is only pertaining to trellises, so it doesn't say
Well, it
grasses
didn't
over
say only
36.
pertaining.
Well, it says use of trellises is allowed, but not exceeding 36 inches. which is
Somewhere else there was
useless.
something about the plants then. And
So-
really,
so
some
I
of this
think-
should just apply to the front of the house.
Well, the problem with that is, like, this road, this is what people see when they come in, and so if you're trying to sell your place, they see the toys out back, they see
People live here.
but we don't want them
So we
to
want
think that
them to
trashy
nice.
people live here,
Right.
or,
People with children probably, that's why you see all the toys.
okay, well, that doesn't mean you should just leave everything out.
No,
And
right,
every
right,
place,
gotta be
you can't,
respectful.
you can't just say, oh, I got kids, my place looks like trash,
Yeah.
so, you just,
I'm thankfully done with kids, but I know that when you have kids, it's difficult to pull in all those.
I have
toys.
a child, and I have
Does he have
one
toys?
bicycle and one basketball hoop on my patio.
That's it, that's all.
That's all. I bring all the other toys inside to keep it nice and
Get
organized.
totes, get,
Yeah.
get like,
Right.
they have these really,
And the same thing
nice
in my
little
house. I keep it clean and organized.
container things
Exactly.
with doors and stuff that you could put on your patio. I mean, if, you know, if it's too difficult to bring it inside, I don't see why you can't just make it presentable.
Right.
It's just
And I
called
think
town
that's
hall
nice.
living, I mean,
I mean,
that's just the way it is.
the
when
thing
we live in here.
is, there's rules, and, you know, I'm in human resources at work, and we have rules. And, so our company makes decisions, and, you know, you get a new employee, and they say, well, we want you to change the rules, and it's like, well, we made this decision, and we don't need to discuss how we got there with you. Basically, you know, if you can't get here on time, when we told you you have an attendance policy, you need to change the way
That's a
you're doing
corporation.
things. You're one person.
That's a corporation.
This is a corporation.
Well, this is
You
too.
stated that.
This is a bunch of
It's a
people.
And the association
democracy.
is a
It is
corporation.
a democracy.
You stated
though.
that on the website, that it's a
What you
corporation.
do,
doing that.
or what your
I'm
neighbor
stating the
does
fact that
affects
it's
you.
different than a
Yeah, we have to be
single.
respectful of each other, that's the,
Disagreeing.
the thing, you know. If you have kids, you can't just use the excuse, I have kids, so I'm gonna crap up my place and make it offensive to
And if I'm
everybody
your
That's
around
not
me.
what I'm saying.
Well, I
saying
understand
that
what you're
be
saying.
Equally considerate of the
Exactly.
people that have these things.
Exactly.
Not saying, no, you
Exactly.
can't have it.
But
Well,
that's
I don't
already
think
been
that
in the
anybody
rules that
said
we've
that, I'm
all-
just saying, everybody needs to show respect. And the person that's gonna be living next door to someone, that's the person who's gonna complain. The board's not gonna go around and say, oh, you're crapping up the place. It's gonna most likely be your neighbor saying, reporting you to the board, saying, hey, my neighbor's not respecting my area anymore, and that's where
Well, if
an
it's
issue's gonna
civilized
come
society,
forth.
the neighbors should come over and say, hey, you know what, I didn't want to bring
Sometimes
this
that
up.
doesn't
Everybody feels
happen, because you
comfortable
step on
doing that.
toes,
Right.
and if you
Not
can have a
everybody
third
feels
person
comfortable with
deal with it,
confrontation.
it might be
This
easier.
doesn't
But
have
if
to
you
be
leave a
confrontation.
bicycle, if you leave toys, if you have a
It's
lot
just
of
a conversation.
flowers and things growing everywhere,
But if
to
you're
some
not-
people it looks messy, to some
And if
people it
you're
doesn't look
and if
messy.
you're the kind of person that isn't comfortable going to you and say, you know, I
Right.
don't like that bike on your
Then you can
patio,
get,
then all you have to do is rely on the rules, and it's an association,
Right.
so that's the place that they moved into, like all of us.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, bedding plants, flower pots and boxes and hanging lamps.
So, okay, you can't have a apple tree.
Especially crab apple, I hope.
Well, what about, yeah, flowering crab apples with little berry fruits, like the builder put in?
No,
Okay.
I was just.
I am
saying,
just, yeah. But they are messy.
Well, there was a thing in here about vining plants, and again, the builder put in tons of vining,
Vining
Ground
on the
cover.
ground, we're talking about vining on the side of the building.
Well, actually, actually, my neighbors is hanging up the building, so.
Right, for asking.
Well, as far as all this landscaping stuff, we have a committee, right,
Yes, we do.
that's gonna
Oversee.
improve, hopefully.
We will do our best.
Yeah, it's another day, so when is that meeting?
And perhaps you should send out postcards, you should contact Nancy, because she didn't get a
Okay.
postcard letting her know she wanted to go to landscaping. So you
Okay.
should really, rather than just the kiosks.
Okay.
If you're doing landscaping committees,
Right.
Something to do.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so that other people, just in case they didn't read it or look at
Correct.
it
I understand.
or whatever.
Anything else on landscaping?
Well, yeah, you guys are kind of stepping on my toes here. We haven't discussed the rules.
See, when you said,
What do you mean?
Well, with the landscape committee, I mean, we should have some input on that section. I'm not saying that we will, but we didn't even look at that as part of our goals. And it does fall under landscaping, so.
until they make recommendations.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
Okay,
Again.
sale of unit, noise disturbance, parking and parking lots.
Where are we with getting those signs, so the single family won't,
Well, we have to wait until this is done. We can't do that until this is done, and then it goes to the 30-day home review, and then it's 60 days till that, so, right.
Okay, in defense of the single-family homes, what gives us the right to tell them?
Every
they can't
townhome,
park?
every condo complex has a towing company.
I don't
it's
care about
for-
that. That's
it's
what I
What
go
are we
for.
talking about now? Moving?
No.
What we are moving?
Let's put some clarity to this, hold on a second.
Where are we at? We all
fall under a
Can you-
master
Let's bring
association.
everybody up to speed.
Okay.
We skipped moving and
We
unit.
skip moving, we skip noise,
That's
we're on the parking lot, okay.
Hold on a second.
Okay. So, where are we at, people? Parking and parking lots?
Somebody brought up towing signs and.
Yeah, the
well, it's
moving,
my
I think it's,
understanding that the extra parking, those units, those like 4, 5, or 6, when you drive around the circle, those spaces
The
that have
parking,
like
the
extra
parking
cars.
areas?
And I understood those to be the town's
Oh, okay.
property.
Now,
And so we have single family,
primarily in Chesterton, so.
parking
Oh.
in there and taking up,
Space.
our guest parking.
look
Oh,
in the
and that's
declaration
from
now.
the houses?
It's
Right.
already done the research, and it is
I see.
property
He's
of
not an
townhomes.
attorney, I don't always defer to
Okay,
her.
well, anyways, the property is townhome property. Those lots are townhome property.
That's not
They're
what it
not from
says,
the
though.
houses. Okay, well, then you do your research, since you're an attorney,
Pull
you
up
do
the
research, and you
declaration
look it
and
up.
read it, so everybody can hear it. It simply says that it is open and available for anyone,
Okay,
including
anyways,
transient
regardless if they
parking,
can use it
guest
or they can't
parking.
use it, we are implementing the parking lot towing for abandoned vehicles, people who leave their cars there for a week or two on end, which we have had, people who are utilizing it as their own personal parking places, people who are not moving them when there's snow removal and they need to be removed,
Where are you supposed
so
to
that
put
we
them?
have snow removal. This is
Go
why
for a
we're
ride.
implementing.
Yeah,
Where are you supposed to go for a ride when you're snowed in?
Well, let's go for a ride.
I just think it's a little excessive. This is a parking spot that is in the declaration available to all guests and transient parking and anybody who wants to use it, including the master association people. And you're saying that we can't even park in it because we're supposed to predict that it's gonna snow, and now we're snowed in, and
It's
maybe
not
people
about
are
that, you can't
unemployed.
remain there, once the snow has finished falling, you need to move it, whether it be somewhere on the street for them to plow that out,
Just like
and then go back
That's
and
in
park
Most of
there.
the other
any other public
complex.
street.
Yeah, that's
Right,
normal.
it's probably.
Any other
That's
townhome or
normal.
condo
Oh,
is
yeah, because, you know, if
Street
the guy was
is
coming,
still
we just
follow-
move the car and.
Where'd
drive
you
around.
move it though? That's what I asked.
We just like moved to where he plowed
Your
it out and
driveway,
then moved
your
it back in
street.
front of our garage.
Your neighbor's
So if you're
driveway.
at work, you can,
Well,
worry about your
normally,
second car
they
that's
come in
sitting
the
there.
morning before we went to work.
There's
Parking
thousands
on my
and millions of
neighbor's
people
driveway.
that park on the street.
We had an issue with Glenn
though.
about that, you remember, right? He took his car from your driveway, put it into mine. Your driveway got plowed, mine didn't because Glenn's car was in there. That's where we had that little meltdown, huh?
And the funny thing is, when your car's there, the minute you move it, it didn't need plowing because there's nothing under it.
it in as of the date these rules and regulations will become effective.
For the three
Sizes and, well, the 2 pet is already in the declaration anyways, but, right, we're gonna grandfather whoever has.
So we're gonna be 100 pounds is gonna be our max, I think.
Going forward, yeah.
I
Just
think
based
we
on the
should-
complaints about the big
Yeah,
dogs
that's
getting
I
on
think
kids,
100 pounds
getting
is
on kids,
extreme.
getting
We
on
should go
other animals.
lighter. 100 pounds is.
As long as you can control,
Yeah, I don't even care about that so much, because you can have a little 40-pound dog that's vicious.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're worried about. And you can have a nice as hell 140-pound dog.
It's just more than somebody is able to control their dog.
So,
Like,
yeah,
that's
so
not
I'm
right
worried
there.
about dogs.
That's what,
Okay,
that's.
I mean, I don't know that
dogs.
much about dogs, but 100 pounds is.
Yeah, we had a Chihuahua that would bite, it was 9 pounds, but yes.
Okay,
It could be-
okay.
Right, it could be any size dog, but
Yeah. And
if you
and
can't
it's bigger
control
than
the
100
animal,
pounds, that's kind of
that's
your
when
own.
it comes into a problem.
That,
What-
I
what-
have
If
a
you
problem
can't
with
control
that.
the
Yeah.
animal,
Oh,
if
okay.
it's too
If you have
big,
2 adults in your home and you have a 100-pound dog and one of those adults cannot control that dog, it gets out.
right,
and we've had situations where the big dogs in the neighborhood have taken off after whether it be people, kids, other animals, and they haven't been able to get the dogs back into control. Those are the complaints that we've been hearing.
Okay, that's fine, but if that does happen, where somebody does, their dog bites somebody, well, then that's the owner's problem, it's not really the board's problem, as far as
Their
who is suing.
liability.
Yeah.
It's kind of more of a pain in the butt to look at that,
yeah, I just don't want my child being the one that's
true.
attacked,
I don't want no.
you know, while we're out for a walk and.
The
Like
dog
that,
owners
one of them.
don't
Beers.
get it.
But yeah, I'm okay with this.
Okay, I mean, I don't know that much about dogs, and that's pretty common for most condo associations, 100.
I've heard, well, I don't know if it's 100, but
Ours would be-
I think you're right, I think it's covered under
75.
village
Yeah.
laws anyway. If
there
someone
are condos and
lies-
townhomes that do have a weight limit on animals.
Okay, well, how, you're walking around all the time, how much does your dog weigh?
120.
Your dog weighs 120?
You want me to grandfather then?
Oh, I didn't know that. He doesn't look that big
Oh,
compared
he's
to,
big.
Remember,
that other dog.
they could be dense if they're muscular.
Look at Daisy, she's 50.
That's what I said, Jeff.
So unless you're gonna go around weighing them before people move in.
Well, I don't.
Again, I just find that
I think
restricted,
it's just
guys.
a
but that's-
guideline, and no one, like, you know,
Like you
is
said,
gonna
no,
go,
it is,
oh,
it's a
check this
guideline,
all
and
out,
nobody's
it's
gonna
gonna be
go
your
and
neighbor's
make
gonna say, you know, if your dog's nasty and he's over 100 pounds, then they're gonna bring it
What if
to an
he's
issue.
nasty and he's 40 pounds like
Really?
that?
They're gonna bring it
What-
to an issue too. So, I mean, most people have common sense.
Question about cats outside.
Walking outside
What about
alone
Like,
in the backyard, is it fine?
There are stray cats, what I mean, we can't like chase down
But
the
it's
cats and
like, I
find
have to
where
be on a
they're going.
leash or not?
a cat should be on a leash or a tether?
It's like, what, like only for dogs, they have to be like the animals on the leash outside, or just all
We can
animals?
call the pound and have them take it, I mean, I don't know even, there are stray cats, I've seen them in the neighborhood.
I know, that's
Or
what
are
I
you
wanted
saying
to
that
ask.
homeowners are leaving them, are letting the cats outside?
Right.
Homeowners will let cats outside.
Coyotes again.
Well, I hope not.
I don't think it's a big issue, because man, a cat isn't gonna get caught.
No, cats
Like
usually.
even I cannot
cats
have an
usually run
animal,
away.
sometimes some cats comes to my patio.
Right, the cats usually run away from people, they don't usually run towards you.
Oh, they're sitting on the patio.
Yeah.
And mine. I don't know whose, but
Spray
I mean,
with
again,
water,
if you're
they'll
gonna do
run
it for
pretty
the dogs,
quickly.
you should do it for all the animals. They should be
They might
leashed
be
or
hungry.
whatever.
So 100-pound limit on dogs, or cats too?
Yeah. I'm good with that.
No, 100-pound limit on
Let's
cats.
put a 15-pound.
Yeah.
I don't know, I've seen some fat cats.
I get my cats too. My
But
kids
it
are
works on
restrained with a
everybody.
leash.
Well, that, yeah, I understand. Again, it should be maybe across the board, so.
So what, you want us to put cats being on a leash too?
I know by Deb, she's got,
Okay,
the lady by Deb, she's got 2 borderful kitties, and they're always outside on leashes, so I don't see
okay,
a
so
problem.
then,
That's
well, it
me.
says.
Oh, is it?
cats-
Okay.
All pets must
not
be on
only
leash.
you.
Right, it says
Huh?
cats must
There's
be
more.
attended at all times.
Well, she's got hers
Well,
on
I
a leash,
would-
and that's fine.
I don't think
Other
most
side.
Cats
people
must
would
be
let their
attended
cat
at all
out
times,
because they're
all
gonna get
pets
hit by
must
cars.
be on a leash,
Control dog.
No, I
controlled
got
by
it.
the owner.
Very
I
good.
don't
cats,
We
dogs,
can't have
covers
any of
them all,
those,
all
we can't have
pets.
lizards and snakes.
What?
Not nothing.
Some people have snakes,
I
turtles,
know.
whatever.
Bunny rabbit.
I've seen iguanas on
A bunny
harness.
rabbit,
Yeah.
right, bunny rabbit, sure. They're all on leashes.
15 minutes.
Clean up, tethering,
Hey, how do you tether not on common elements, is that just?
You're
there's a
limited
neighbor that
area.
has on her air conditioning unit.
Okay.
You're
You
limited.
can do on
coverage
the
area.
inside of your unit. Nancy said she's seen it on, like inside your patio door on the wall.
Oh,
Mhm.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
On the door
You shut
itself,
the
on the
door?
door handle.
Oh, okay,
That's not a good handle.
That
okay.
sort of thing.
But you can't just let them, just stick something in the ground and let them alone, because that's,
Well, no, I read that as you can next to your patio.
no, that's not
No,
common
that's
elements. Or,
The
yeah.
grass is common
Yeah,
element,
that's
so
common.
no, they cannot be tethered.
What,
That's an argument for
what
everybody.
about if some are neighbors just opening their patio door and have dog inside, but the dog barks like at 6 in the morning or like at 5:30 sometimes?
Yeah, that's.
Because I had my neighbor do the same thing, the dog
I'm coming
barks.
home like at 5 in the morning,
For an hour.
6 in the morning, I'm going
I
to bed,
understand.
and I have to wake
I
up.
understand. My neighbor's dog,
For a
an
few
hour,
hours.
from 11 to 12, and I called the police and they said, there's really nothing we can do because the dog is inside their house. And I was like, but that's a noise complaint.
Yeah.
If the dog's barking for an hour at 11 to 12
Once was
o'clock
45
at night.
minutes.
Yeah,
And they won't do anything.
they wouldn't do a
Did
thing.
you talk? No.
No, I didn't talk. Just like scream to
What if
them.
somebody was, I mean,
Remember that?
playing devil's advocate, what if somebody was cranking
We
their
have a noise
tunes and they
ordinance here,
reach a
though.
certain decibel level, would the police go tell the people?
That's because I've had that in my apartment when I was
Right,
living in
so I mean, what's the
Prospect
difference
Heights.
between a dog barking and music, if it
Exactly.
reaches a certain decibel level where you can hear it, isn't there any kind of,
We'll have to go to the village for that.
yeah, cause I
Yeah,
mean,
that's-
I would think if the dog rate was to a certain decibel level
Right.
that was measurable within your house, that they would at least have to go tell those people to
Yes.
do something. Because you couldn't crank your tunes at 4 in the
Right.
morning and
Right.
expect to get noise.
But you can
Barbecue
also,
gets
what
to
you
that
can do
level,
is because we do have a noise, we do have a noise ordinance, I guess, so to speak, in our book, you can write a complaint.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, and as long as there's a complaint, the board and then Nancy Higgins have to comply with that complaint.
yeah, and then if you have it on record with the board that you complained to the board and then you did call the police, you'd have like a series
A
of
paper trail.
documentation.
Okay.
Satellite dishes, we already had on that one, right? Signs.
Dishes, we did that, right?
We're gonna update the signs about.
Yeah, we need to do that one unit.
Unit that we're gonna, with an unit that needed to be.
Yeah.
So if there's already satellite dish outlined in policies, do we need to reiterate it here too?
I don't think we did, I think this is directly from the declaration. Because it's its own little policy in the
But
declaration.
again, once we send this for attorney review, they will look for any,
Discrepancy.
right, anything
I don't know about that,
conflicting.
you've seen discrepancies that they've created.
They'll look for anything conflicting with the master and with our declaration, or anything that's illegal that we cannot do. Window treatments, vehicle restrictions?
There was something when I read this the first time though, on the satellites, where it said something about on the garage, and that's what I wanted to point out, because I can't find it right now.
Yeah,
If
but
it
we just
already
went over
outlines
that,
the-
Yeah,
we
right.
decided it was gonna be roof only.
Yeah.
That makes sense to everyone, right?
Which is what it says in the other form.
Oh, okay.
This one said something different when I first read it. It was a location thing, maybe.
It's on letter B,
B.
maybe. Under the declarations, limits owners to installing satellite dishes on their patios, balconies.
On the back half of the roof on the garage side.
Which doesn't really apply for our setup and structure.
Yeah,
Then
garage
we'll
is
just
in
scratch
front.
on the garage side, the back half of the roof, because that's what it says in our declaration.
Then we need to make this appropriate for our pets, so they can't.
Right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
clarification.
Right. Anything with the window treatments or vehicle restrictions?
60 days seems pretty long.
For which one?
Window treatments. Temporary
I thought that too when we read that.
No,
So you want 30?
Too long.
want 30?
14
Yes,
days would be
please.
special.
All right, let's make it 30 days. Everybody good with that?
What are you getting custom made drapery?
Yeah, but if you put
Yeah,
30,
you
you
know, I'm kidding.
tell them, you say,
I'm
yes,
kidding.
custom, they'll be here in a week.
Yeah.
You're not gonna know I got
Just
sheets
doing
up.
newspaper.
I did
See
new
sheets
papers.
up.
I-
You're not gonna know they have
I've done
sheets
that
up,
now.
sheets up while they're waiting for custom
Yeah.
drapes or something.
Unless you have a neighbor that might complain about it.
That's right.
No,
I'm kidding.
If you're Heidi's neighbor,
Versus, you know, Spider-Man sheets, no, but.
Yeah.
So
Alright.
vehicle restrictions, anything there?
Yeah, I don't understand why you, what it pertains to, vehicle restrictions. Permitted vehicles shall be defined as.
You can't have a boat.
No,
Right.
I mean, there are a lot of
RV.
vehicles that are not
RV.
automobiles. Well, what about a motorcycle?
I think it's,
Well, that's what I'm saying, just get rid of the automobile.
Yeah, it says, well, they're excluding limousines.
In this neighborhood.
I don't want golf carts.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought everybody
There
rode
was
golf
golf
cart.
carts.
And if somebody's car is broken down in a parking